What if I told you that there was one styling move that would instantly make all of your outfits feel more interesting? It is friction or tension, or perhaps known as contrast, but essentially this keeps the eye moving. I personally love this as I feel like it's a really simple way to explore the boundaries of our personal style, but also have fun with our outfits. I thought we could start by breaking down the concept of friction and what this means to me. I see friction as the art of contrast. It's not clashing for the sake of it, but it's introducing a bit of tension, that push-pull that feels really intentional rather than completely thrown together. These elements of contrast may feel quite subtle, but they can be the difference between an outfit that you really love and one that just feels like it's missing a little bit of something. The very first point of contrast deals with elements of structure and silhouette. Basically, we're creating balance by ensuring that we have equal parts fluidity and structure in our outfit. There are a couple of different ways that you can interpret this, whether it's a combination of more structured fabrics with ones that are a little bit softer and have more of a fluidity to them, or alternatively, it could actually be the shapes themselves, something that has a lot more kind of rounded edges, that is really soft, pairing that with something that is very sharp and is maybe a little bit angular. I thought we could do a little bit of color play with this example, so I'm pairing a really soft blue with these almost kind of chocolatey cocoa colored trousers from Fabric. I really love the loose fluid fit of these trousers and they have a nice elasticated waist. But when I'm pairing that with a top that's also quite kind of soft and unstructured, it really leans so heavily in that one direction, especially when the shoes also mimic those curved edges and we're bringing that softness in through the choice of bag as well. While I do really like this outfit, bringing in some sharper elements will instantly make it feel more dynamic and completely change the mood. So instead of the slouchy tee, I've decided to swap this out for a knit that actually has a V-neck. So we've got those kind of sharp lines and you can see that the form really holds that structure. So it is doing all of the work and it helps to create that push-pull feeling between my upper and lower half. I can also do a pointed toe pump that is going to bring in that sharpness. A pointed toe, it instantly elongates. A really good tip for anyone who does have shorter legs and a longer torso. Currently, my favorite way to introduce contrast into an outfit is through the use of color. I think that this is so visually impactful. It immediately hits your senses and it's just a great way to play around with statement pieces. Even pieces that would read as really neutral in a different context can really pack a punch here. This part of the video includes a paid integration with Fabric, whose summer sale is currently on, and when I tell you it is good, it is so good. There are more than 300 designer items on sale, all up to 50% off, and I do have some discount codes to share, which I'm going to pop on screen and down in the description box below, which you can stack on top of the current discounts in order to save even more off of your purchase. I will be styling pieces from Fabric throughout this video, so you'll be able to get a closer look and also some outfit inspiration. Many of these are already on sale, so a great time to save a little bit more and also just be able to see them in motion. I always feel like that is so helpful to get a sense of how a piece of clothing moves. Because Fabric partners with so many talented designers, they have such an incredible range. I think it's sort of unrivaled because there's a little bit of something for everyone. There are more feminine silhouettes, there's a little bit more of a boho style, things that are a bit edgier, and then of course you do have your classic tailoring as well, but the collections are always really innovative and I find just visually quite interesting because they tend to use a lot of high quality materials and you'll also find some really stunning prints as well. In addition to styling some of their clothing pieces, I also wanted to highlight one of their handbags, which now that I have this in my hands, I can really say just how truly beautiful it is. Even the unboxing experience just felt very luxurious and the quality of the leather is stunning. So this has been designed by Valeria Masai, who spent 10 years as a women's leather goods director at Bottega Veneta, meaning she worked on styles like the cassette bag and the pillow bag, which all of us are very familiar with. So you can really appreciate the fact that she's bringing this incredible wealth of design knowledge to this bag. And one of my favorite things about this is actually convertible. So you have the lovely soft, smooth leather exterior, and then on the inside, it's suede. It's really easy to flip inside out. And you also have the benefit of being able to change the silhouette by cinching in the sides. So maybe actually that makes it 4 bags in one. The size is excellent because you can fit a laptop in it. It probably also goes without saying that this color goes with everything, and I'm going to show you some examples on screen. I just kind of tried it on with a few different tops, and the chocolate brown hue, I mean, it is just deliciously stunning. So kind of going back to what I was talking about with contrast before, introducing a bag like this, there's 2 ways you could use it to create contrast. So you could use it from a shape perspective, pairing it with something that's quite kind of dainty because this is very kind of slouchy and oversized. Alternatively, and this is how I've chosen to style it, thinking about that color contrast, which I mentioned I really love. So I've opted for a fully neutral outfit, and then I'm using the bag as the point of difference. So it's really highlighted, and I think that makes it so impactful. Because I also have on the slouchy jacket, the bag kind of carries that same weight because it is a larger size, so it doesn't feel off balance at all. And a key detail here is think about pushing up the sleeves or opting for something that does reveal a little bit of your ankles so you have some skin on show. You can also use your hair for styling, so pulling that back into a low bun. I thought another way you could do that if you wanted to kind of double down on the color contrast is to also bring in a shoe that does have a little bit more depth to the color. But yeah, absolutely stunning bag. I think probably to date, one of my favorite ever finds on the Fabric website, but they've got so many beautiful pieces. And if you are planning to shop the summer sale, make sure you use one of my codes, which I'm going to have on screen here so that you can save a little bit extra. I've definitely mentioned this last one a lot when I'm talking about styling, but that contrast between masculine and feminine styling, I think, is just so interesting. And again, it feels very unexpected. And I suppose this kind of plays on our ideas of stereotypical gender norms and what women would be wearing versus what men would be wearing. And I guess that's where that intrigue comes in for me. So I have this absolutely stunning pleated matching set from Fabric, which has this really beautiful light blue polka dot to it. I find this really interesting because I suppose more often than not, I'm drawn to a black and white polka dot. So this feels really fresh, and being in that navy hue, it does have a slightly lower contrast value than wearing something that is black and white. You can see just how divine the set is. I mean, the skirt is so graceful. The movement that it has as you kind of walk around, I really love that. This is a detail I adore in skirts that have any element of pleating to them, the pin tuck detailing itself, kind of helping to bring this visual tactile quality. And then the blouse, I mean, I actually think both of these pieces, as beautiful as they are together, also really shine when worn as separates. The camisole, I can see myself wearing a lot in the summertime, especially worn with like a white trouser for that color contrast pop. Anyway, back to the point, masculine versus feminine. Okay, so if we were to lean in on the feminine elements of this outfit, maybe we go for a cardigan that has a little bit more of a softness to it. It's really sort of fuzzy. And while I like this, I think that bringing in something that is a bit more heavy, a little bit more robust, durable, that has some real weight and some grunt to it would instantly make this feel more interesting. So enter the oversized leather biker jacket. And I like this because you have that contrast between the fabrications. So you can kind of see there's a bit of interplay with all of these different contrast components. It's not necessarily that it's one or the other. You can have a few that align, but it might be that there's one core contrast detail that you're heavily focused on for that outfit. So in this instance, it's the masculine feminine divide. And I think here it instantly just feels more dynamic. I think we can see so clearly why this pairing actually works. The heavy leather biker jacket that looks like you borrowed it from your boyfriend or your husband's closet, and kind of styling that with something that is really pretty and feminine. It feels like the unlikely choice, which is exactly why it works so well. Have I told you how much I love playing with the texture as part of an outfit? That is definitely the next point that I think really can improve an outfit instantly, and again, just increase that level of dynamism in the look. So I wanted to do a little bit more of a workwear outfit here, opting for a black top, black skirt. This is the Magali Merino Wool Blend skirt, which was designed by Sebastian Monnier, who's previously worked at Ann Demeulemeester, and you'll know I actually have this in the cream color. I love both, and I was thrilled that it's in black too. It's such a good wardrobe staple, but I digress. Very flat kind of fabrications, right? So there isn't a lot happening here visually. One, we've got that really nice long visual line because we're wearing all black. The texture is the thing that is is really going to make this pop. If I was to pair this with a blazer, something that is in a twill, very aligned with the skirt, again, it's going to come off feeling really flat, even though it is polished and it is an all black look that we love. So I'm going to do the texture play. I'm going to really amp it up with this gorgeous herringbone textured bomber. This is interesting to me for a couple of reasons. The first being that we've finally introduced some texture, so there's a little bit of a visual feast for the eyes. There's something to really look at, but also it's the way that the jacket plays with the straight lines of the outfit. It actually has a little bit more of a puffiness to it. So not only have you introduced texture, but you're also introducing a silhouette that plays up the proportions of the outfit. And I love that. The actual style too is a little bit more relaxed, a little bit sporty because it's more of a bomber jacket. So again, it feels like maybe not the typical choice to pair with tailoring with that lovely suiting skirt. So you can kind of see how I'm joining the dots between these different layers of contrast to really level up the outfit. The last point of contrast deals with proportional tension, basically adding in those sort of more slimmer elements with things that are a bit more slouchy and oversized. So I wanted to show you an outfit that included a lot of oversized elements and not in a way that felt intentional. Instead, I kind of just end up looking a little bit like a blob of fabric. There are no really key defining features to my outfit, aside from the fact that I have defined blocks where my upper body is and where my lower body is, because we have that color contrast happening here in the outfit. Because proportions are off, that is the key element that I'm focused on when I'm looking in the mirror. I can tell that something needs to be tweaked, and that is the element of contrast that will instantly bring this outfit back to equilibrium and make all of the details feel really intentionally styled. The oversized elements included the top. So number one, we're going to swap that out for something that is a little bit more streamlined and closer cut to the body, but still in that same color family. Then secondly, we're going to ditch the jacket and opt for one that is a little bit shorter, but that also has more of a slim, streamlined silhouette. So there is a little bit of movement there. It isn't kind of clinging to me in any way. It really helps to draw the distinction between my lower half, which is incredibly voluminous with these lovely pleated culottes, and my upper half, which now has a little bit more of a snatched profile to it. The other thing we can do to play around with sizing and proportion in an outfit is to consider the shape and size of our bag. So bringing in a smaller bag can be a great way to do this. And I mentioned it recently in one of my previous videos that I am loving the idea of the micro bag, especially when we are wearing outfits that have a little bit more shape and a little bit more volume to them, because they help to bring that balance and they feel really harmonious. So that was the final look. Those are the 5 points of contrast, friction, or tension that you can instantly bring into an outfit to make it feel more interesting. And I'm curious to know if you find yourself doing these naturally, which one you really lean on when you are styling, and if you had a particular favorite piece or outfit that you really loved from this video. It's not to say that any of the before outfits were bad or wrong, but more so just how we can change up the look just with a few simple styling tweaks. And this is the thing about fashion. It is so subjective. A lot of it comes down to taste and the way that we perceive things. Our eyes settle on things differently, and the key takeaway I hope you draw from my videos is that the most important thing is that you actually just feel really good in what you're wearing. Don't forget that Fabric Summer Sale is currently on, so definitely a really good opportunity to save. There are some incredible gems, and I will have those discount codes on screen as well as down in the description box. I'll also be sure to share some of my favorites as well that I'm currently eyeing up from the sale. The Phoebe and Harper set have been restocked, so I'm personally really keen to add the top into my collection so that I can match with the pants. I just think it is such a nice set. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for spending some of your day with me. I'm always really grateful. If you're new here and you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new. I share a lot of styling advice, brand reviews, and how to make the most out of your wardrobe. You can also subscribe to my Substack for even more styling insights and capsule wardrobe ideas. That'll be in the description box too. Enjoy the rest of your week ahead. I will see you next time with a brand new one. See you very soon. Bye.